Paul. And I call that course from me fan. Putting Messi what here. Or come around and draw that chair up from a blade fan. Negene Kitra. Kebugum Munyen. Nemelum Kachi Munkebua. Kita gamma di keman dem na bamu ma obobo nama omwe defend dem man wa kamali ngolong ni kita ime go me go ane mo zima biu kedu ke go ma ba. Oh, I'm living in bondage. Or perhaps I'm not to charge. Now, more mamma, you're the on a chipabia, on a milan vehicle. Mana obu na mata feha mama musopo Paul obu na mata fwa ima gata kutien
Hello. A few months before a vital presidential election in Kenya, a former president of the East African country, Mwai Kibaki, has died. Kibaki, a former minister under Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta, later became a vice president under Kenyatta's successor, Daniel Arap Moi. Kibaki's disagreement with Moi in the 1980s and his formation of an opposition party in the 1990s led to his election in 2002 as president. That election ended decades of one-party rule that saw two men, Jomo Kenyatta and Daniel Arap Moi, lead the country from independence in 1963 until 2002. But Kibaki's government, which promised to lead Kenya out of the wilderness and restore the country on a path to the promised land, quickly became mired in the same corruption he decried under his predecessor, President Moi. Kibaki's 2007 re-election campaign against Raila Odinga led to violence that killed over 1,000 people. With Kenya facing a possible degeneration into a civil war, the then UN Secretary General Kofi Annan negotiated a power-sharing deal in which Kibaki remained president while Raila Odinga became prime minister. This government of national unity drafted a new constitution in 2010 that limited the president's power and strengthened ethics provisions. Following the accusation of corruption by his inner circle, called the Mount Kenya Mafia, Kibaki resigned in 2013, and Uhuru Kenyatta, the son of the first president of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, succeeded him. In announcing Kibaki's death yesterday, Uhuru Kenyatta did not provide the cause of death, the place, or the date. Uhuru Kenyatta announced that the third president of Kenya had died at the age of 90. Kibaki left behind 4 children with his beloved wife, Lucy, who died in 2016, and a daughter he had with another woman named Mary Mawabi. We now pause to show you a video of Kibaki, the president, addressing the controversy about his second wife.
I want to make it very clear that I have only one dear wife, Lucy, who's here, and I do not have any other. Listen to what I say and not to continue dispelling lies all over the place. But if you have any questions, you can ask. Anybody?
Yes, ask now.
In other stories, the Laughing of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi III has died. He passed away at the Alpha Babalola University Teaching Hospital in Ado-Ekiti, the capital of Ekiti State. He was one of the longest reigning Alaafin of Oyo in history and was on the throne for 52 years. He was 83 years old. It is 11:30 a.m. in New York City.
It is 8:30 a.m. in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
It is 6:30 p.m. in Nairobi, Kenya.
And it's 4:30 p.m. in Nigeria. Wherever in the world you're joining us, welcome to another edition of 90 Minutes Africa. On our show today, Nollywood veteran Kanayo O will join us to discuss the role of Nollywood in the 2023 elections, social ills like ritual killings, and the explosion of moral decadence among the youth, among other issues. Chief, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Let me start by asking you, you are an award-winning actor, a veteran actor, a chief, a lawyer, a national honor recipient, and so a businessman. Some people have also described you as one whose art represents or has contributed negatively to some of the social ills. One of the biggest, of course, is the problem of ritual killing. We'll get to that, but let's start by asking, who is Kanayo O Kanayo? Is that your name?
Well, thanks. Chido and Rudolph, thank you very much for having me on the broadcast. I was born on 1st of March, 1962, as Kanayo Modestus Onyekwere, in a little town or village called Umweze Obama is in Itembise in present-day Imo State. Kanayo O Kanayo is my professional name. I am, I'm an actor. and I've gone on to become a lawyer, and I've tried using my trade to affect the world. And for me, that's who Kanayo O is. A gentleman who has tried his best with the cooperation of the teamwork we have held back home. You and Rudolph, you're abroad. We've been holding the home front for all you guys and making sure we make our people happy in the production of our stories, which film or movies, as you may call them. That's who Kanayo is.
All right, thank you so much. I want us to pause and watch Kanayo in action.
I want to welcome you to the Sacred Order of Love of Money. You are welcome, my boy.
Thank you, Chairman. In fact, I love money so much. When I was in the primary school, I made up my mind to think that anyone who does not have money is useless.
The crocodile can swallow anything, but none of them have attempted to swallow the electric fish. Strong, my boy.
Chairman. Salas of cough, Abarego. Silas Okafor. Silas Okafor. Pay. Please pay Mr. Silas Okafor. He's identified by me.
All right. I don't know if you can remember when this was, and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I think this should have been about more than 15 years ago.
Okay. Now, are you concerned that
I think.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were asking. Go ahead and ask.
I know. I wanted to know: are you concerned about how you are sort of telecasted in terms of the role you play? And people remember you. You played several roles. You have over 100 movies that you've made. But people tend to remember you from these roles as villain, and especially in this kind of stories. Are you concerned about that?
No, I'm not. I'm not in the least concerned. Why I'm not concerned is because our industry, popularly called Nollywood, is based on social realism and tends to capture the social realities of our culture, our tradition, the norms, and so on, and the mores. And to tell the stories, even people bringing stories to us to tell us what happened around them, and we weave it as a story and show it as a movie. And one thing that has stood out over the years is that in every movie we make, light will always overshadow darkness. I mean, we live in Nigeria, and I tell you, African societies in general, we have unwholesome belief in rituals and fetish and so on. That's the African. It's just like when you watch American movies, you must see a gun. You can't run away from it. And there's the social reality of the United States. It doesn't proliferate guns on the American streets, but that's what it is. We have told our stories mirroring those aspects that people tend to balance their acts. And at the end of the day, we tell our people that this, and this will land you in this. Stay away from this and do this. The beautiful thing about Nollywood is that we've been able to tell our stories by ourselves to our own people in the language they understand. And that's basically what it has been over the years. So me being concerned about typecasting, I want to ask Rudolph and Chido, when did you ever see Sylvester Stallone play a weakling? So by the flexibility of the role he plays, not by playing a major general here, a leader of a war, and that's what it is.
Okay, Chido.
Yes, I think we understand where you're coming from, but people who are concerned about some of the issues in Nigeria will still go ahead to point to the movie that we just watched, or part of it that we just watched, that many of the social ills, particularly the question of ritual killings and the so-called love for money, have something to do with what people watch on TV, particularly in a country where the literacy rate is so low. And the Minister of Communication, when he appeared or went to Daily Trust newspaper about a month or two ago, had said that most of the recent ritual killings for money were influenced by some Nollywood films. How would you respond to that?
The first question I want you to ask the minister is, where did politicians learn to rig elections? From Nollywood?
That's interesting. I hope we'll bring him on sometime.
Very, very interesting, because we are not addressing issues as Nigerians. That was a misfiring by the Minister of Information. I call it misfiring because, number one, legally speaking, the minister cannot ban what he terms as ritual content in Nollywood movies. The best and the worst the minister could have done is to ask the National Film and Video Censors Board to censor. And for your information, the government organ or the government department called National and Film Video Censors Board classifies movies 13 years, 16, 18. Even those who do pornography have their rights and so on. It's a breach of the fundamental rights of creative actors, writers, and producers in Nigeria for the minister to have made such comment. I think it's not in good faith, and it's killing creativity. What I need to let you know is there are things that politicians have done in Nigeria which has given credence and prominence to what goes on. We need to talk about what we can do to bridge the gap between the poor and the rich, because it's the chasm is opening up every day. And that's one thing that should concern us, than killing creativity. For instance, the Nollywood industry has been one industry, has not received any government support. It has been a private sector driven industry, and should receive more encouragement, more empowerment from government than what the minister did. But the minister's action is suspect, because one expects that the gentleman on the floor of the House of Representatives, Honorable Toby Okechukwu, who proposed, who was calling for that motion to look into ritual killings, he never mentioned Nollywood. He said it's part, because I spoke with Honorable Toby. So what rightly the minister should have done, and let me read it out for you, is to call stakeholders from several areas, like, for instance, talk about parents. Parents, where are your daughters after 7, 8 p.m.? Most parents now rejoice. They don't care about who brings their daughter home. So we should be talking about values. What do we do to reorientate values in ourselves? Parents have a very big responsibility of whatever happens. Your son comes home without a job he's doing that everybody sees, with a car. What is your concern as a father? When did we stop asking questions? I remember when I was growing up, whatever it is, in terms of any amount of wealth that you brought home, you must answer to it. In fact, the age in which we grew up, Chido, you guys can relate to this. You dare not bring your girlfriend home. You dare not. We were that sensitive to the values. Now, you will see a young a Nigerian girl, walk into her parents' house. That's my boyfriend. And the man is outside. And what the man and his wife cares about is how much this guy brought. Values have been lost. We need to talk about the values. There's so much impunity in the system here in Nigeria. Somebody's elected into public office. Under 6 months, he's riding a brand new Jeep. This is what is causing most of the things. So I think the minister should, of course, stakeholders, parents. One, what is the work of the National Orientation Agency? I need to ask again. This is an agency of government that's supposed to sensitize Nigerians. See something, say something. Immediately you see something, say it. And that's why I also called for the Unexplained Wealth Bill by the National Assembly of Nigeria. Unexplained Wealth Bill. It's very important. Many Nigerians have to start explaining to us the source of their wealth. Then when you explain the source of your wealth, and it is genuine, we'll start talking about, are you paying the commensurate tax with it? So parents have a responsibility, the National Research Agency, then the media is a critical stakeholder. What does the media promote in Nigeria or even Canada, where you are? So what I'm trying to say here, while I'm reading up, is it is not fair to point out Nollywood as one industry that's promoting whatever it is, because that's what the minister did. So the press, what agenda are they promoting? And then you talk about religious leaders. What messages go out in our mosque on Fridays, and what messages go out from our churches on Sundays? Is it receive it for a young man who has no work, receive a brand new Jeep? Where does that happen? In the Bible we read, God cannot bless you except you have something in your hand. So the religious leaders have a critical role to play.
All right.
And then,
so let me just ask this question. We'll come back to the issue of government support for Nollywood, which I think is critical. But I'm sure you've seen some videos where some young people have actually referenced Nollywood as the source of inspiration for some of the crazy things, so to say, they've done. Is there no?
Let me, you see, somebody came to church, a particular church in the morning, sang a song, and everybody was clapping and laughing, clapping and laughing. Some other person came to the same church in the evening, sang the same song, and people started weeping. Chido, my brother, and Rudolph. People are bound to take information the way they want to. So it is not just saying the length. I mean, I read, not all you see on social media you believe and so on. The guy who said he learned how to kidnap from Zubi Michael and so on. Zubi is a fantastic actor and so on. How could he have learned it? I'm representing a role. And that's why we say drama is mirroring. Whatever it is you're doing, you're mirroring society. You play a role, and just like when the classifications are done before DSC becomes on, they will say parental advice, parental guidance is advised. So it is very important we heed that. Parental advice is very important, or parental guidance, very important. You are not supposed to see anything. How many of us in Nigeria, let me raise another question, have watched the cartoons our children watch? Most of the cartoons, because it's made by Oyibo, is violent. But because they are made in United States, in Canada, in Tokyo, in Japan, and so on, no Nigerian cares about the manner of cartoons our children see. It is very important. Try and sit down. Rudolph, try and sit down and watch what your children watch as cartoon. So we must tell ourselves the truth. And the truth is, we have relinquished our responsibilities as parents. You are bound to take information. There are people who watch a drama. It gives them a new value. It gives them a new experience about what they did not think could happen, and they learn from it. For some people, it hardens them. That's it. But you can't stop preaching the message or you can't stop drinking from the river just because somebody drowned from it. So the inordinate flaunting and celebration of wealth has fueled the youths of our country to what they would not have done. Inordinate flaunting and celebration of wealth, especially by politicians. There was a show I watched yesterday. It is stolen wealth. Not that politicians have money, but they steal a lot. And when they do and cross to the other side, they wave those who they were greeting before, they now wave them. So those who they wave want to do what they are doing now to make sure they meet up. In Nigeria, where there's no social security, there's so much pressure on the youth to belong. And the National Orientation Agency should be the agency of government to ensure that the youths are well advised, guided, and then parents will have to do their job. You know as well as I do, the family is the smallest unit of society. Have we all taken care of our families before we begin to push our children into the society? The answer is no. Even the older ones, these parents I'm telling you, are helpless and hopeless because of the economy. You can imagine a father who has not received the pension for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, he worked assiduously, very hard for the government. So I need to say it on this broadcast to Nigerians and Africans all over the world. Many parents have become irresponsible. They push their daughters to you. They don't care where the money comes from. Most girls, we call it runs in Nigeria, have to sleep and sleep and sleep with men. It's now become official. Just to feed the father at home and feed the mother at home. Chido and Rudolph, if your daughter was in school and is carrying a phone of 500,000, 1 million naira, wouldn't you ask questions? What has this got to do with Nollywood? So values have been lost. We need to get back to basics. Daughters are doing things their parents are supposed to do. A girl of 15, 17 will be carrying a phone of 300,000. Nobody asks questions. I mean, we should look beyond what Nollywood is doing. And then also consider the influence of social media, which has a far wider reach than even the movies. It's just like those days, people were engaged in this fraud called 419. From the comfort of their bedrooms, they would defraud Oyibo and so on. You can't just help it. So Nollywood, for me, I mean, it's not perfect. Like I always tell anybody who cares to listen and who don't care to listen, we are not where we're supposed to be, but definitely not where we used to be. The road to success is always under construction. Nollywood will remain under construction. We'll tell our stories, we make our mistakes, we correct them. But, you know, in doing all this, government intervention through its agencies can help. I mean, government regulates the movies through the National Film and Video Censors Board. Government classifies. But an outright ban on creativity and so on, no. Let's go back to the drawing board. Yeah.
All right. We'll get to some of the issues, but let's watch another clip from you, okay? And then we'll get to some of the issues.
Well. Who do we have here?
Are you surprised to see me, Chief?
Yes, because I know at the moment your hands are full.
Well, Chief, I have come to plead with you to get...
Now want to plead with me?
Chief, I want you to call off your thugs, and I want you to do that immediately.
Excuse me? Have you forgotten who I am? What I can do?
No, I have not forgotten. You are a mean, selfish, and greedy man. And all that you think of is your lust for money and power.
How dare you, David?
All right, that's a little bit from our guest today, Kanayo O. Kanayo. Now, let me ask you, you mentioned that Nollywood is not where it used to be, and it's not yet where it's supposed to be. Some of the issues that Nollywood is facing, and we know that there's a big potential for Nollywood to bring in more money than oil. Crude oil is bringing into Nigeria. It's issues of piracy. I wanted to know, is there any improvement? Because it looks as if when movies are made now, they are shown on theaters, and we have only 77 theaters as of the figures I have in Nigeria, serving a population of 200 million people. How do you make money now? Because not all movies go to theaters, and not everybody has opportunity to go and watch it in theaters. And then it goes straight to YouTube, I think. How is the industry surviving?
Piracy is not only a cankerworm that has eaten very deep into the marrows of the creative industry in Nigeria. It is worse than cancer. And that is because the government has not taken interest in ensuring that those who practice their trade benefit from it. I want you to imagine a scenario, and this is practical, where you discover a site or a shop where your film is being pirated, and you go to the police, and instead of police mobilizing and coming there to effect arrest, a policeman in Nigeria will tell you, go bring them, come. This happened before me. I'm not kidding you. I said, I'm going to come on this program, and everybody has to know the challenges and what happens in our country. This is not right. Your trade is being stifled. Your benefit is being stifled. Your source of income, the one that has brought a name to your country, through which you're supposed to be feeding your family, and the police tell you, go and bring the man. What force do you have? What power do you have to go and effect an arrest? So it's worse than cancer. And I tell you, and I give kudos at this moment to producers, many producers in Nigeria, who have, within the thick and thin of this, tried their best. Right now, releasing on YouTube is what is sustaining most people. doing some private viewing for some high-profile people and organizations. And then, of course, you know, few get to the cinema. But this is wrong, because by the time you do one show and you earn from it, you are supposed to produce more and add quality and generate employment. So it's a very sad commentary for the movie industry in Nigeria and its distribution system. Because we have had laws that do not work, people pirate your movie, and because they know police would be sorted out or taking money and so on, nothing happens. And no country ever survives when people have the brazen confidence to commit a crime and go scot-free. Impunity is rife, and we must not allow it go on. So in the area of distribution, it's been a very, very sad story. I have very, very sadly sympathized, commiserated with those who came in to support the industry, and had no good story to tell. So for now, some people whose stories make it to the cinema stay content with the 77 theaters you just talked about. And again, when you talk about the 77 theaters, even the conditions given by the cinema houses, you can imagine you make a movie, and the cinema houses are taking 70%, and you are taking 30%. This is what is happening to producers in Nigeria. So it's not a good story. So you only get to balance, you only get to get some benefit if your movie hits a very lucky number, like Funke Akindele's Omogeto and so on, or Living in Bondage and so on. If yours doesn't get to hit box office very high, you cannot break even. And that's a very sad commentary.
Now, let me ask you, I know you mentioned government support. I know that in 2010, President Goodluck Jonathan gave $200 million as grant to the industry. And there was another 115 million given in 2013. Was the money used very well? And why didn't that help? Or did it help to move the industry forward?
Of course. I know about the $200 million came with a lot of stories that I think is not something we say on this program. The $200 million was more of a facade than a fund you can draw from. But I talk about, that's why the industry misses President Goodluck Jonathan, I must tell you, because the 3 billion naira was a grant, not a loan. And, you know, one of the biggest challenges the industry has had with the Bank of Industry is in terms of collateral. Which collateral would an actor or producer have to be able to draw funds? So the 3 billion naira critical stakeholders were able to draw from that 3 billion. And, you know, because it was given in 2013, you know how government runs. Government works with processes and procedures. So by the time practitioners started drawing from it, Goodluck was out. And very sad for us, because I think, and I wish to say it on this program, I think the industry needs more grants than loans. Because you need to sustain what the industry has done through private-public partnership before you begin to set up a loan operation system. You can imagine, as you are in Canada, somebody is asking you to give a collateral or 500 million naira. If you don't have an infrastructure that could yield that 500 million, that means you're not going to get anything. But if you can draw from a grant, it will give you some guarantee or element, or you can also partner with one or two persons who have such demands by agency to draw some part of the fund, and that will give some vent to the industry and steam to run. before other things can hold. So it was a welcome development when Ngozo Okonjo-Iweala, as Minister of Finance, was dispensing the money then. And I think from what I heard, I think about out of the 3 billion, 1.2 billion was already drawn. They couldn't draw up to the 3 billion. I do not know, but I would want to see such a thing happen again, because the industry in Nigeria has been, and that's why whenever you talk about the Idumata boys, Onitsha traders, and so on, give kudos to them. Chido and Rudolph, I wish to tell you on this broadcast, when you take a movie script to a bank in Nigeria, you may stay there for the next 2 years. They have not even read the proposal. But these guys at Idumota, Iweka Road, and so on, who didn't have who don't have much education, they will look at it under 2 weeks. They will give you cash to go and produce. And this is how Nollywood, you are saying today, came to be. So we need more participation, more collaboration, more interaction. Unfortunately, the present government doesn't seem to have interest in the entertainment industry. And that's why it's been so bad. But at least, even if you don't have interest in providing funds, provide us access. And the access we're asking here is like in the area of piracy. Help us when we come with cases of discovery of those who are pirating. Help us with other accesses. It's even very difficult to get a police station to shoot if you do not oil the hands of some people. Very difficult to make a film in Nigeria. People don't know what we see. But the fact of the matter is, the producers, actors are like a local government unto themselves, doing everything without government participation. We're not asking government basically to sponsor movies, no, but give us access. There are certain accesses. You want to shoot a military movie, you want to import cameras and so on. These things should come without taxation. Should come without paying the most bills and so on. And it should be what it is to help the industry grow more.
Thank you very much, sir. The question, you've raised an important question about access. I want us to look at it from the perspective of, it's Nollywood organized in such a way that you can access funds from foundations, from banks and institutions, so that you don't have to deal with the banks versus the Idumota boys scenario. How well coordinated and organized is Nollywood? Do you think that is one of the reasons that they've not managed to get the kind of access they need? Then secondly, the issue of welfare for actors. You see every now and then we see cases of actors who are bedridden or have one ailment or another needing to be flown outside the country. And you're wondering, what's Nollywood doing about all this? You can't even take care of your own. How do you respond to these issues?
All right. Thank you for, let's talk about the organization in Nollywood. I will agree with you. I will agree with you that Nollywood lacks the necessary structures to effect or create processes and procedures by which they can draw funds from either organizations, either in Nigeria or international. And this lack of structure has affected a whole lot of things. We have worked very hard to ensure that the Motion Pictures Practitioners Council is well entrenched, but it has not worked for even 15 years. Because the Motion Pictures Mopicon bill, if it was passed, would have helped to sanitize the industry, would have helped to streamline the industry, but it's not existent. And this is majorly because there's a whole lot of bad blood that is raised in Nollywood most times, which is making the industry not grow as it should grow. And that's a very sad one. To that extent, this is also a clarion call for the structures that Nollywood operates on, which is the guild structure, Actors Guild, Producers Guild, Directors Guild, cinematographers, and so on, to get together and ensure that whatever concerns Nollywood should be treated as something critical and urgent. Singing with too many discordant tones and voices is not good for the industry. So it is one of the reasons lack of structure has debilitated it from what Nollywood is supposed to get. On the other hand, welfare for actors. Yes, very sad commentary again. Very sad commentary. And the question, why would it be sad commentary? It's sad commentary because there was a time we proposed that the Actors Guild, to which I belong, should operate the structure by which when you earn your fees, you should have a percentage, just like when you work for the government. There should be a percentage you pay so that when you retire, that system can take care of you. We wanted that, and we still want that in the Actors Guild. To all intents and purposes, the president right now, Mecca Rolas, has done a great work in bringing actors together. But I must tell you, Rudolph and Chido, on this program, there is every spirit and every devil in being a star. And that spirit makes some people to feel superhuman. So these are the people who will not even attend meetings that other actors attend. So some people have grown because of being addressed as stars, as bigger than the industry. So this has not helped in that fund's contribution. Otherwise, the way it's done, which you know very well, Rudolph, is that as you pay those little fees, maybe just 0.001% of your artist fee, it is going to be used to take care of those who have immediate needs for medicals. You don't have to be sick just because you are contributing to a fund. But what about the rainy day? So the inability of the guilds to operate a structure by which its members can be taken care of during the rainy day has been a problem. And that's why you hear this actor is sick, there's no fund, this actor is bedridden, like you said, so on. We need to. I think the synergy by which the Actors Guild is working is a better one. The HMO and so on are being embraced to ensure that we don't always come out to say, please contribute to our members. In fact, the kudos I'm giving to Emeka Rolas and his team is that there are many actors who have been sick. You don't get to hear them because there are some internal mechanisms that are used to raise monies for them. But I think on the general scale, what will help the Actors Guild and other guilds is a structure by which its members pay just a stipend to a fund and call an insurance company who will provide the necessary health insurance on the rainy day. I think it's a better arrangement than asking people to contribute that this person is sick, this person is bedridden, this person is hospitalized. There's no even some of the people who work for the highest organizations in the world. There are some basic things they can take care of before calling for help. But we need to at least take care of some basics before we call for public attention if need be.
All right. We're also going to talk about the election and the role of Nollywood in the election. But before we go to that, I want to address the issue of paying for roles. And we've had that sometimes actors are required to pay for roles in Nollywood. And there's also the one about sex for roles. So things like this, is there an internal structure within the organizations you have to deal with this and sanitize the industry?
Okay, now the Igbos would have an adage to say something like Ife Sibu Dene Osibu Nkaku. It is not something, the paying for roles is not something that should be talked about or tolerated. But the problem has always been, or the challenge has always been, on some people who want to act by all means and at all cost. Nollywood provided a ground for people who are not educated, semi-educated, ill-educated, and so on. As long as you have that physical talent, you become an actor. So you don't have to be a graduate to act. If you're a graduate, that's better. So what this has done is that you will see a girl whose boyfriend tells you're a good actor. The next week, she comes to audition for a role. Meanwhile, this same girl cannot speak 2 lines of English. So such people are the ones who patronize it when some people call for auditions, when some people paste notices and say, we can train you to be an actor. I think what has happened on most occasions is that we get to hear about it when they have gone off the line. They never came to where actors meet. It's just like I can tell you for free as a lawyer, market of art. If you want to buy a car and car shops open by 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., if you go to that same spot by 12 midnight and buy a car, it is you don't have any case before the law. So these people, and unfortunately, in their dexterity to act, don't want to inquire about where actors meet, the right person to call. They just want to be stars. They just want to show their faces, and they get beaten. And nobody takes the blame. It's just like living their life on the social media. Some of them get slept with by people who give them scripts to read, scripts that are not in any way and have anything to do with the movie industry. And then sex for roles. Sex for roles is also akin to those who pay for roles. As we speak right now, and I want everybody who is listening to my voice, it is so bad that many of the girls pay to be slept with to act instead of being paid for the roles they perform. How do you balance that? Instead of paying a girl 100,000 naira to act in a movie, she brings her own 300,000 and say, that's my own contribution. She books her own hotel. It is so bad that a girl who has been admiring, say you, Ledoche, for instance, we paid some of the people who are greedy to say, I'm dropping this 500,000, 1 million, add it to your budget. I want to appear with you, Ledoche. I'm just giving instances of how people want to come into the industry.
Sorry to cut you short, because you're touching on something very important, which is the next question people have been thinking about. Why is it that they are doing this? Is there a benefit if I'm a lady and I pay? Yes. So what is the benefit?
Rudolph, let me stop you there. There are benefits.
Okay.
And that is why politicians in Nigeria, some of us will swear, say they no go die well. You will see a young, fine girl. She tells you she's an actress. Just increase the money you're giving her. So what most of them used to do is to ensure that those who design the jacket of movies put their faces. So she will act in Asaba, take that jacket design to Abuja, and see a top politician. What do? I'm an actress. So instead of giving her 200,000 or 100,000 after a night or something like that, the man is giving her 2 million. That's one benefit.
So is that how they buy these mansions that we see? Because it baffles me when a movie has a budget of 3 million And an actress in that movie will now overnight buy a mansion of 40 million.
I will not give credence to your question. But do you remember what Davido said in his statement about Nollywood girls?
No, I don't remember. Please tell us.
Okay, please Google it. Davido and Nollywood girls. That is a very good attempt of what happens. So you have many beautiful girls throwing themselves into Nollywood for the benefits. And you know, when you have free money, free fall for money, oil money, and so on, we are a man, and that's what is growing that thing you're talking about in Nollywood, or growing about it in the world, that Nollywood is helping to do this. You see a man take a girl in Nigeria to one island, and she comes back with a Range Rover just because she's beautiful, just because she's an actress, and that's not good. So men are the ones who are also putting fire or stoking the fire of this. So the benefits are many. Just to mention, you're an actress. In fact, what has happened over time is that some of the girls you're talking about, when they steal their dollars, because when they introduce themselves as actresses, we know they are not actresses. We know what they are doing is impersonation. It's when they steal the dollars of the alleged actress of these politicians that we get to hear about it. And what you hear then is all these actresses are thieves. And that's where we say no. Or generally they'll say all these Nollywood girls, you cannot. We still have very responsible, fine Nollywood girls, but the worst thing that has happened to Nollywood is the infiltration of Instagram stars in Nollywood. The girls who are popular on Instagram but are not rooted to the ground. And that's the worst thing that has happened to Nollywood. They are the ones giving Nollywood a bad name because they can do anything to become Genevieve Unaji. They can do anything to become Omotala. They can do anything to become Rita Dominic. They can do anything. They are just popular on Instagram. You cannot rate them on anything that is drama.
And there is no way to deal with this within the industry.
Yes, what the industry would do, just like any other industry would do, is when a man reports that his girlfriend, and don't forget, Chido, don't forget, most of the men who do this are married, so they bury it. They wouldn't want it reported. How would you? If you cheat in an exam, you're caught with the chips. Oh no. If you go to somewhere and buy exam questions and it turns out to be fake, would you go and report to the police?
All right.
So that's what it is. So there's no. What I'm trying to say is it's when it goes sore that we get to hear. But if all is going good, we don't get to hear it. But sex for roles, what we have done, I functioned with Sam Dede and some other people, part of the disciplinary committee of the Actors Guild of Nigeria. When such comes to our table, we try and deal with it. But I wish to let you know, sex for roles is like rape. When a girl is raped, she barely talks about it. The stigma. So most of girls who have had their hands soiled in sex for roles don't want to talk about it. But we have also identified some people. And we keep, officially and unofficially, we've told some of the people that your cup is full, your matter has come to our table, and we will deal decisively with you when the time comes. We've also encouraged our members, if there's a particular producer who has been harassing you, intimidating you, Please report. Must you act? We keep on asking them, must you act? Call the bluff. Just like when a lecturer sexually harasses a girl in school. By the recent actions and by the 2020 Sexual Harassment Act, report it, and the law will take care of it. We're also telling the girls who are desperate to act, report this scenario. It will help our industry. It will help us sanitize the system. It will help people to know that not all Nollywood girls are free girls. Than sleeping from one producer to the other. That is not what we want. That's not the kind of industry we are building.
Thank you.
And that's my take on that.
Thank you very much. We'll come to politics now. We have just about 30 minutes left, and there are lots of questions in terms of the audience participation. But before we segue from Nollywood and literary matters, you have a book out called The Testator. I would like you to spend just 1 or 2 minutes to plug it. Tell us about it, what it's about, and why we should read it.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Unfortunately, the reading culture in Nigeria is so bad. I made an investment of an initial 4 million naira to print. I've not covered the 4 million naira up to now because the reading culture here is down. People don't read. In fact, derisively, it was said that if you want to hide something from Nigerians, you should write it in a book. And that's reflective of what we are saying in The Testator. The Testator is a legal thriller. We wanted to reinvent or reenact the era of legal thrillers, Robert Ludlum and so on. And the idea is to create again that culture where people can sit in a bus for an hour and they are chewing a story. Testator is meant to teach people, let people know their rights, know that law is not esoteric, to know that law is not metaphysical, bring it closer to the reading public, to ensure that you begin to understand why you should make a will. For instance, anyone who's listening to me now, please go to Amazon, get the Testator. It will tell you why you have to make a will. It will tell you the legal implications if you don't make a will. So it teaches you the law, the legal processes in very simple ways that you have never seen before. It's not legal language quoted and so on. It brings down the law to you at the level you will understand it. It's a marriage of law and entertainment. And that's one of the reasons I read law. I co-authored it with His Worship, Tony Ekwaba, the magistrate in Abuja. And what we want, what we intend doing for the next 5 to 10 years is to make sure we have one legal thriller per annum. And what the beautiful thing about it is that every year, we turn one of the legal thrillers into a Netflix movie. That's the idea. So it's meant to revive the reading culture in Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
It's meant to add to the body of knowledge. It's meant to bring law closer to the people while providing the entertainment side of the law. It's what we have described as unputdownable. Believe me, if you raise a copy of The Testator, it takes you from one page to the other, teaching you law and entertaining you at the same time. I'm an actor who has gone on to become a lawyer, so it's a combination of both industries. And it's a must read for anybody who likes legal thrillers.
Thank you very much. Somebody just asked on the chat section where they can get it on Amazon, and we've shared the link. So for those who are listening, you can follow the link on the screen. So let's go.
Before you go, can we just take a break, a mini break, so that for our audience, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
I'll make sure you chew those words. I promise you that. Well. Who do we have here?
Are you surprised to see me, Chief?
Yes, because I know at the moment your hands are full.
Well, Chief, I have come to plead with you to get...
Now want to plead with me?
Chief, I want you to call off your thugs. And I want you to do that immediately.
Excuse me? Have you forgotten who I am? What I can do?
No, I have not forgotten. You are a mean, selfish, and greedy man. And all that you think of is your lust for money and power.
How dare you, David?
Welcome back. We have with us special guest Kanayo O. Kanayo. We've been discussing Nollywood, but now we want to go on to talk about politics and the role of Nollywood in Nigerian politics and the election coming up in 2023. So we've seen movements of politicians trying to recruit Nollywood actors and actresses to support their political ambition. What is your position on that? What do you think should be the proper role of people in Nollywood when it comes to politics?
Thank you. It's a very, very mind-boggling thing, the way we have tried to relate with those who are contending or contesting for public office. For me, personally and officially, Nollywood needs to move beyond endorsement of aspirants and candidates and engage directly by contesting for political office. I have been one of the first to do this. 2010, 2019, I have tried to contest for the House of Representatives, even before I became a lawyer. But I know that I'll function better in the area of lawmaking. Nollywood, as an industry, has not understood its role when it gets to election. I tell you what, of all the people who wanted to, because I think I heard that the guy has dropped his ambition now and is supporting a presidential candidate. Maybe I'll call his name. Dr. Doye Okupe. Dr. Doye Okupe is the only person who called me as KOK to do him a 2-page on how Nollywood can be better off with a government. So we need our own voices to be heard. If you have a government that takes interest in your trade, good. When our people go to endorse candidates without anything for the industry, it is personal aggrandizement, and that's not good for Nollywood. Practitioners have always performed very well in office, and that's why I'm asking that we need to go beyond endorsing of aspirants and candidates and contest directly. I mean, talking about practitioners who have all performed well. I mean, a former United States President, Ronald Reagan, he was former president of the Screen Actors Guild of America before he became president. He did well in office. The present president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, is an actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger, governor of California, is an actor, is engaging for actors to participate in politics. So their role in 2023 should not just be to go and play music for a presidential aspirant or a presidential candidate. It doesn't just demean us. We must have something we're asking for. So this is the clarion call for all actors, producers, directors, the entire entertainment industry to ask for something from aspirants and candidates of the political parties. That way, we will have a package. But this idea of being paid, appear on stage, sing the praises of an aspirant or a candidate is not the best thing that can happen to an industry. There is an added advantage that it takes to be an actor and actress. This is what governments should be clamoring for in building a synergy. If Nollywood is engaged by government can use the popularity of Nollywood and control of the audiovisual media to mobilize the populace to come out and vote. Of course, you know, the immediate problems we have as an industry, as a country, is voter apathy. People have lost interest in the political process and are not willing to come out on election day to vote. So the role, if Nollywood is engaged by government for the 2023 elections, is to start now, begin to talk to the people who have lost interest in the country, in its voting, in the political process, using, because why you would ask, why do the agencies use actors and people in the entertainment industry to brand their products? It's because of believability. So government can also employ the same strategy and ensure that in 2023, actors, musicians are brought in, not as politicians, but as people who have believability, integrity, or supposed integrity, and ensure that this voter apathy, because it's so clearly destroying and damaging, that people don't believe in it again. But if the actors, producers, and so on give a constant message, it will help to redefine the political space. But on this note of people just endorsing candidates, whether they package from any of the politicians in terms of policies and so on. Like, for instance, the Mopicon bill should have been into law. It's just like what the PIB should have been to the petroleum industry. That's what we demand for the movie industry, and not stipends being given to those who come for political campaigns. That's my first take on it.
All right. Thank you very much. We're really running out of time, and I can see lots of questions from the audience. But let me ask you two questions before we leave politics. And one would be, we know you have very strong views about what's going on in our country, not just on politics, other social issues. I think you did a letter to the president when you turned 60 about a month ago or so. I would like you to, talk about that one. But then also, I just saw something on social media now that appears to be trending. I don't know how true it is. We don't have the source, but they're attributing it to Reuben Abati, confirming that former President Goodluck Jonathan would declare for president under APC. Do you have any views on some of the political gladiators as far as the presidency of the country is concerned in 2023?
Okay, thank you very much. Because this, let me first start with what you asked me. I turned 60 on the 1st of March, to the glory of God, and I thought it was a very good occasion to speak to authority. And in that, on that day, I made a video thanking the president as a father, to see himself more as the president of Nigeria, and be fair to all his children. In every family, there are bound to be distortions, there are bound to be quarrels, there are bound to be crises, there are bound to be anything. The ability of the father not to disown his sons or daughters because of their misconduct makes him a good father. And we have had occasions where fathers will call their sons names, even their sons will call them back. But it takes a good father to come back in the evening and say, I want to see all of you, and talk to them. So my appeal to the president was, one, the southeastern part of Nigeria is under siege. Military siege, police siege. You cannot go to anywhere in the southeast under 200 meters without a police checkpoint or military checkpoint. So the zone is militarized. I know the implications. Rape on girls, forcefully taking things from people, extortion. This is happening in my southeast. I call the president's attention to that. Number two, there has been a conspiracy in the press to suppress that every Monday is a sit at home. I told the president in very clear terms that the sit at home is effective. Even when the governors go to Abuja to sit with the president, because they want to be vice president or president, they tell the president they have taken care of it. Even government vehicles are off the road. IPOB has come out to say that they have cancelled the Monday sit at home. Somebody still is still effecting it. Then also, and listen to this, civil servants, of course, you know, in Nigeria, the civil servant can go for school runs all day, so you get a salary. So they are enjoying the Monday that they are not going to work. So they are helping to encourage it. So ultimately, I told the president that the sit at home has economic implications. You may think that it is just for the Southeast. It has gone beyond that, because the Onitsha market is patronized by all parts of West Africa. There are people in Lagos who come and buy things from Onitsha market, Nnewi and so on. So I called on the president as a father of the nation to embrace a political angle to solving the problem of insecurity in the country. This idea of 100 people are killed and every Nigerian is walking about as if it is goat being killed. It is not good. It is not who we are. This is part of the reality. We try to achieve, we are painting in Nollywood. Human life is no longer sacrosanct. Human life is no longer there. So I called the president's attention to what is happening in the Southeast. And then I said to him, ultimately, Nnamdi Kanu is from Afaruku here. And this is, I'm talking to you from Ezini Tembise. That's why I'm doing this broadcast. Afaruku here to Umuahia here. He's from here to Umuahia. It's 35 minutes drive. He's my brother as an Igbo man. He's one of your sons. If he has said anything threatening the nation, and that's what he has said threatening the nation or the Southeast, and he has a lot of followers, dialogue. Let's call him to order by some means. A constant incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu is causing distortions in the system here. And this leads me to what I think about 2023. And please listen to me. In 2015, our brothers in the Southwest aligned with our brothers in the North and produced Buhari as president. And Buhari has been in office for 7.5 years or thereabout. Now this is 2023 is coming. Nobody should be telling anybody that power is not freely given. What have people from the Southeast done that they cannot, for fairness, equity, and justice, be allowed to occupy the presidency? We want a president of Nigeria of Igbo extraction, not a president of the Igbo people. And I tell you what, on this note, if an Igbo man becomes president, all agitations will stop. Because if Nnamdi Kanu opens his mouth, they'll say, now your brother president now, so keep quiet. So this will also give other regions of the country the benefit that this can get to us. We're a minority, but if the Igbos have been asked to have the opportunity to do this, and they have become this, that means we can become, just like when Jonathan became president, from the list of the minority. He used to say to us, if I can become this, you can become. So the presidency to the Southeast must be considered. For a Nigeria that's productive, for a Nigeria that is developmental, for a Nigeria that's progressive. I think for justice, fairness, and equity, the Southeast should be given that opportunity. Let's build a Nigeria for all of us. Every day we create the tensions in our country, and we ask where it's coming from, and leaving the main things. We must be looking forward to a Nigeria that's representative. The Igbos have done well in business. I don't want to start mentioning names on this broadcast, but Ali Nonyema is building one of the best airlines, Airpeace. If you go to Nnewi, you know that God has given it to the Igbo man to manage business. The Igbo man will manage Nigeria as business and make more profit for Nigeria. So I want to ask the Southwest, align with your Igbo brothers. Let's produce a president of Igbo extraction. The heavens will not fall. It has never been known to fall. It is in the general interest and collective interest of all of us that this happens. All this alienation of the Igbo man from the Security Council meeting in the presidency and so on is not good for the country. There's nothing the Igbo man has done, which nobody from any other geographical zone has not done.
All right,
we have built more businesses. The Igbo man has built more businesses than anybody. Like it's often said, any village, community you go to, you don't find an Igbo man. Kwarapo, just leave that place. We are receptive, we are hospitable, we are productive. Why are people afraid of the Igbos? We come into a place, we see the business. So we start buying the houses instead of renting them. People are afraid. Why are you afraid of me when I'm productive? Let me leave it at that and say, he said it was a speculation that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is declaring for APC, under APC. Well, if he does that, Olabode George, I think, says he is going to relocate. I don't have a word particularly for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, but I would think that if you have danced well in the market, you should leave when innovation is loudest. Goodluck Jonathan has been an outstanding statesman till 2015, and I think he should go and have some international standing better than recontesting under any political party in Nigeria. Goodluck Jonathan should rest and let an Igbo man become president of Nigeria, and that's my word.
All right, thank you so much. We are running out of time. We have less than 7 minutes, but we want to always give room for our audience members to ask a question or two. We just let people who are in just make sure it's less than 30 seconds, please. We don't have a lot of time. So I will let in Ovie. Ovie, I know you are joining us from I don't know where you are, Virginia in the US, and Barrister Daniel, welcome. Then Ikechukwu, welcome too. All right, so let's once you ask a question, I'll get you out because the other people, and we take 3 of you, and then maybe get more people, and then we respond to that. Ovie, what's the question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kanayo, and you've been a preacher, not just an actor. Yeah, my question is, do you think the movie industry, Nollywood as they call it, is an easy target for the politician or those in Abuja, quote unquote, because of the Nollywood lack of lobbyists in Abuja, bargaining their interests before the power lawmakers?
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Just wait. Let's get the three of them, then you will respond to that. Okay. Ikechuku, next, please. Make it 30 seconds.
Okay. Good evening, all. I want to actually contribute, not ask a question. The contribution I'm trying to make is like, according to what Kanayo said, Nollywood movies are like mirror of life. It's a role given to them, not they imposed it, or they are the real people in what they want to do. So it's a role given to them. That's actually what I want to say.
Okay.
Because I've heard the questions given to him about the Nollywood industry being the mirror of life, and he defended it in his own way. And I'm also following his footstep. It's the mirror of life.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kechuku. Barrister Daniel.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good evening. Mine is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, mine is a question to spur our mind, but let me put it like as a question. What can we, the professionals, the movie actors, lawyers, or other professionals, what can we do differently to give us the Nigeria that we all deserve? Because it appears everybody is tired. We are tired of what is happening in this country. We are fed up, but we do not have a clear direction of how to go about it. So what do we do differently to give ourselves the Nigeria that we all deserve? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's let him take the questions, and then if we still have time, we get the rest of the people waiting. Kanayo, please.
Okay. First of all, thank you for Obie, thank you very much. You said, is it an easy target for politicians? I want you to remove that word easy. It is a target for politicians. If you see where politicians are cutting actors and actresses as beautiful bride, they do it very well and tell you they are the leaders you need until they get what they want. And that's a very sad commentary. So, but like I proposed, actors should stop endorsing. They should move beyond endorsing aspirants and candidates and getting a policy statement that these people can take in when they become what it is they are clamoring for. So Nollywood is an easy target for those who want personal monies. Politicians will pay you, and you come to sing at their occasions. Then you give them prominence they don't have. Don't forget, some of our politicians are not well educated. Some of them can't talk in public. So they have you there, they do their smile, and then the audience believes them. So Nollywood brings believability to politicians, and that's why they do everything possible to cut the relationship of actors. Then Ike Amadi, Ike is my small brother. Thank you very much. Of course, it's a mirror of society, and like you said, it's a contribution. Daniel, what can we do to get a Nigeria we desire? Now, this is part of what I proposed. And what I proposed is part of what, if government is serious in engaging Nollywood as an industry or entertainers, to be part of the political process in the sense does not make them politicians, to kill the apathy by the populace, say, we're not interested in Nigeria again. Daniel, you said it, you hit the nail on the head. Nigerians are not interested in Nigeria. It is the likes of the Minister of Information who will speak for himself and his family. We need to reunite ourselves. We need to build the love amongst us. So what we can do as Nigerians is to take back our country. Of course, the case of Imo State in 2019 cannot be overemphasized. And what has happened? Did we take back our state? The answer is no. So if we know we are going to cast our votes, let Nigerians start speaking and say to those who monitor our elections, INEC, the police, and say, you will have us to contend with if you rig this election. So, but if Nigerians are still complacent and docile about the political process and don't want to come out and vote, voting is not done on social media. You must have a PVC. So Nigerians must wake up. That's the only way I can say that what we can do to get our Nigeria back is that everybody can be part of the political process. One thing happens in Nigeria, Chido and Rudolph, I need to let you know. Any small thing that happens, Nigerians will tell you, let actors speak, let popular musicians speak. We are not. Your voice can be heard from anywhere. I mean, we used to have a situation where people used to write articles and send to the newspapers, criticizing government policy. And people don't do that again. People are tired. Let's not be tired. But we must have a political process that's representative of what we want. Voting, people should, by now, people like us should be employed in the sense that engage with government agencies to do some jingles, to do some follow-ups, and so on. But as we say this, it behoves on government to make sure that the insecurity that's killing our country is taken care of. Because there are places that you are not even sure election will hold in 2023, because you can't go there. Let me stop it at that.
All right, thank you so much. We're out of time. I know there are 3 people who are waiting, but unfortunately, unless Chido calls it the other way, we have to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Kanayo, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate this time.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Chido.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say thank you to everybody.
All the people who join us on social media. We have so many questions you sent out, and we just couldn't get to all of them. And we appreciate you. We hope you join us again next week when we have another episode with a great guest. And we don't want to announce it yet, but tomorrow we're announcing our guest for next week. Once again, thank you for joining us, and follow us on social media for updates on some of the upcoming guests.
All right. Thank you very much, Kanayo. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So,
now, thank you for everyone who joined. I'm impressed. Thank you for everyone who's joined.
All right.
Thank you. So see you next week.
You've been so wonderful making out your submissions.
Thank you.
Well.
All right.
Who do we have here?
Are you surprised to see me, Chief?
Yes, because I know at the moment you're